Welcome back into the Sportsocracy, and this is Team by Team Draftmas season content. It is the 3-round mock drafts for each and every NFL team.
We wish you a Merry Draftmas. We wish you a Merry Draftmas. We wish you a Merry Draftmas and a happy next year.
We're coming to you live from the Ingles studio, and let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks, a surprise team from last year, at least for me it was.
Yep, this is a team we've just waxed poetic about how much we love everything they've done, and yet, in our comments, all people ever say is, "The Sea Chickens are your daddy." It's a joke, okay? It's not a dick. Don't take it so hard, all right? It's a joke. Make them laugh. Comedian right here.
Seattle has the number 5 overall pick in the draft because of the trade, the Russell Wilson trade with the Denver Broncos. So at number 5.
With 4 quarterbacks going in front of you, you have your choice of any defender you want. And to me, it's not even close. Will Anderson, edge rusher out of Alabama.
You should be Speedy Gonzalez going to that podium with this pick.
Boop, boop.
Yep.
Yeah, look, he's a great pass rusher. He doesn't have any of the personality red flags that you get with Jalen Carter. For me, I run up to the podium to put this in as quickly as humanly possible. I think this rounds your defense off because him, Nwosu, Jamal Adams, and now you're talking about playing 3 safeties with Julian Love and Quandre Diggs. It just makes this defense really multiple. You addressed one of your biggest needs with Bobby Wagner because you needed another off-ball linebacker. And now I'm just looking at this defense going, oh, shit. Wow, Denver, thanks for making Seattle's defense friggin' terrifying by taking on their shitbird quarterback. Good for you.
Geno Smith had the I was going to say the second coming of his career, but it was actually just the first. It was his initial coming.
I'm still shocked at comeback player of the year because to come back, I think you had to be half-assed at some point.
Right.
And as a fan of the team that drafted him, he weren't.
With the number 20 pick in the first round, Seattle Seahawks get him a weapon.
Some people are going to like this, some people are not. You know what? I'm not as wild about this player as a lot of other people are. It's Jaxon Smith and Jigba, wide receiver out of Ohio State.
Well, there's no doubt when you watched Ohio State, he popped off the page.
But why did he pop off the page? Because they were exponentially more talented than damn near everybody they played. I think there are things to really like. He does a lot of things really, really well. He couldn't block me. So, to me, he's an exclusive slot receiver in the NFL. Well, I've got Tyler Lockett on one side. I've got DK Metcalf on the other, and I've got a matchup nightmare in Noah Fant. This is the best scenario for him. He is better than the 20th player in this draft. Not playing in the college football playoff has driven a lot of people, and me included, crazy. Didn't play that. How many snaps do you think he played in college? You feel like it's a lot, right?
Yeah,
You've been saying the name forever.
Yeah, you would think.
867. That's it. Zay Flowers was over 2,000.
Yeah.
It's the depth of his profile is not. It's just not really there for me.
Well, he played like 6 snaps last season. So.
Yeah, the injury last year.
Right.
But I mean, look, when you watch the tape, it is certainly obvious that he's a very talented, very gifted guy. I have this reservation of if he goes into a system where he's the 1 or the 2. Now you put him in this, now we could be looking at this going, damn, that was a good pick.
Right.
Damn, that was a good pick. You tried to do this with Dwayne Eskridge. He's just, he's not very good. So, I mean, Jaxon Smith and Jigba he's a talented player. I just think it's very specific to the fit, and I really like the fit with Seattle. And it's a luxury pick, but you got the best player in the draft at 5.
Yeah.
So you've done a lot of things to round off the defense. It is a little bit of a luxury, and you take a player that fills a need and will prop up Geno Smith because you're going to have to prop up Geno Smith or that contract's going to be an albatross because he's not that guy. You know it. I know it. Anybody watching this knows it. He's not a top 10 quarterback in this league. But you give him weapons, he's shown that he can play like a top 10 quarterback in this league.
The Seattle Seahawks also have Denver's pick in the second round at number 38 overall. You got him adding to the defense again?
Well, they do need somebody on the interior, and this one falls right in their lap. Brian Bresee, defensive tackle out of Clemson. There's good tape on him. And I feel like every Clemson player is falling because of things we've talked about in the past, that Clemson's just notoriously sunshine and rainbows with their players. And so you deep dive them, and then you get to because he's got the same problem Njigba does. He didn't play 900 snaps in college. The good is really good. He's a hell of a pass rusher. Now, the question is that because of what was playing around him? We know he's a physical freak of nature. That was never in doubt. And then through the workouts and through the offseason, we've seen all of that. I'm not sure how great he's going to be against the run. Now, at Clemson, a lot of people didn't run against him. So it's more, I haven't seen him do it, not I know he can't do it. There's a huge damn difference between those two things. And I think in the right system, here you put Will Anderson on one side of him, and he can just, on pass rushing downs, you are going to be fucking terrifying. Mm-hmm. This kid, Will Anderson, Jamal Adams, just people coming from everywhere. And I really like the fit here with Seattle.
In their second pick in the second round, at number 53.
Hey, you remember that thing I said about Clemson players?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got another one. Trenton Simpson, linebacker out of Clemson.
Another guy who was once talked about being at the top of this draft class.
I love this kid so much. I don't know why he has been pushed down. I don't know what it is that well, he's little, and he played as a slot corner at times. So did Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, because that's kind of who he reminds me of. I think this kid can be an absolute dog in the NFL, and I think he's going to be one of the best tacklers in this class. Now, is he as good in coverage as I want him to be? Not always. Is he as good against the run as I want him to be? Not always. But you put him next to Bobby Wagner, and you just allow there's part of him to me that has Jamin Davis written all over it. But Seattle has the pieces around him to get the most out of that talent. I'm not asking you to call the defense. I'm not asking you to be the center, the focal point of this defense. I'm asking you to be the hyper-fucking-athletic linebacker that you are. Because he's sized about the same as Isaiah Simmons, who's played safety and slot, and I think he can do that too. He's been pushed down, and I think it's really stupid.
All right, the final pick here in the 3-round mock draft for the Seattle Seahawks, number 84 in the third round. You got him taking a center at a Notre Dame.
And to me, he is a center. A lot of people have evaluated him as a guard, and that's not how I see it. Jared Patterson out of Notre Dame. Now, remember all the things I just said about the two previous picks? That they didn't play high-level college snaps. Jared Patterson played 3,100 snaps in college.
That's a lot.
This is 4-year Letterman, a lot of good tape. And I think this is the only way that I can wrap my brain around this. Because I have him just a spot below Oluwatimi out of Michigan. I think there are 5 legit starting centers in this class. This is the 5th. Is he ever going to be an all-pro? No, probably not. I think we've seen him for so long, and it was so good to start, and then it just never really got better. I think he peaked as a sophomore. So I know exactly what I'm getting. He's an immediate plug-and-play starter right now. Right now. Can lead your defense, can call all of it. I just don't know that he's going to be Alex Mack. And I feel like that's being held against him for some damn reason, which is really stupid. I think we consume so much draft content, and we push so hard on these players, and we look at so much tape. When you have this much, we start taking the negative and missing the fact that you've got this huge depth of good tape. Is it great tape? Is he just mowing people down the way John Michael Schmitz does? No, that's why you can get him here in the 3rd round instead of the beginning of the 2nd. But this is great value, immediate plug-and-play starter. And for me, that's 5 starters for the Seattle Seahawks in the first 2 days of the draft.
And could very well rival the draft that they had last year.
Last year was one of the best drafts I've ever seen. This would probably be the best draft I've ever seen.
And I was going to say, there's more to come. What would be next on your list of gotta have?
And in terms of gotta haves, they don't have a ton of them. I mean, I've at this point, I've added the edge, I've added the defensive lineman, I've added the interior offensive lineman, the wide receiver, the linebacker. I want a developmental quarterback, and I'll tell you that Hendon Hooker is their next pick if we had gone 7 rounds. I don't see him going as high as other people do, and I think he's a perfect fit in Seattle. I mean, if you want to move Hendon Hooker to wherever, I think he ends up with the Seattle Seahawks. I hear a lot about that. And then I'd like to have another corner. But from here on, I'm taking the best player available. I'll probably try to move some picks to acquire some extra capital next year, and I'm just going to be real damn good.
All right, 3-round mock draft for the Seattle Seahawks.
If you like these picks, if you hate these picks, if you want to call me a big mullet dipshit or tell me the sea chickens are your daddy, feel free to do that in the YouTube comments. I answer all of those. If there's a player you'd like to know how they fit with the Seattle Seahawks, comment that as well. And you might be featured in our next Seahawks video, which should be out sometime next week.
This is the Sportsocracy, and we will have all of your Draftmas coverage throughout the season here. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends as well. We'll see you next time.